Hi everyone, my name is Serena. Welcome to the library. We have a bunch of new changes for you, so let's go. Alright, so this here is our first study section. It hasn't changed too much from last year. We have some collaborative tables where students can come in and work really quickly if they just want to go to the library just for a few minutes. We have where students sign in. It's super easy. You just grab your student ID. This also has not changed from last year. It's just a nice, secure way of getting into the librry. So now we are entering the makerspace. This is sort of the big new changes of the library, as I talked about in the article. So if we come this way, we have our nice little sign, welcome to the makerspace. This section is sort of where we've expanded for the library. So we have this counter here that has sort of opened up the actual creative prototyping makerspace from this study section, which is similar to the collaborative tables you see over there. We also have this really nice storage where students can store their projects after they've been working in the makerspace. So this area is super nice because it now flows into this makerspace. So we can come this way. This makerspace is also super similar from last year. We had a really big island table that we took out just so that students can sort of flow between any section and they don't really have any obstacles in their way. We have materials here all along the walls. Anything you can imagine, the makerspace has it. So this area itself hasn't changed too much from last year, but the expansion of it and the way students can flow between sections is very different. For example, there will be a barn door here, as the librarian said, but for now, this just flows directly into. So this is the think space. As you can see, we have whiteboards literally everywhere. We have whiteboard tables, and this is where, as the librarian Mrs. Ludala said, students can write on the walls, write on the tables. This is really the brainstorming space to get every single thought out there. And then once you decide it's sort of your building time, you can flow right into the makerspace and start building what you imagined right into life. So this, connected to the space behind you as we first walked out, which is connected to the makerspace, is all sort of this idea of enhancing student innovation here at the high school so that students can feel like if they have a design, they have every tool that they need to make it come to life. And now, as you can see, this is the sort of nonfiction student section. It's where students can come and talk. They don't have like a low volume restriction. There's a TV. Mrs. Sheehan and some of the other librarians have been giving nonfiction book talks to some of our freshmen and sophomores. So this has been a really good space for that. This is also a new space where students can come and they can just collaborate to their heart's content. All right. And here is sort of the core of our library. This is what's called the low volume space. So students can come sit here. I know I come sit here a lot if I'm in the library, and you can just do some quiet studying, grab a friend. You definitely want to keep the volume a little bit lower because there are people who are trying to study or do some work here, but it's definitely open for friends and collaboration. We have some nice furniture here. This hasn't changed too much from last year, but there have been a couple new additions. And then I want to be really quiet here because this whole section down here is the new quiet space. So if you take a look down here, we have moved the study carrels into the sunlight, which was actually a request of one of the students who wrote a letter to the librarian saying, oh, I would love it if we had some sunlight in the quiet section. So now this is what we have. All of our study carrels are now close to the windows, which is really helpful so silent studiers can have a nice environment. I know I've used it a lot. The quiet section used to be all the way over there, but that wasn't really close to any windows. So now we have this super long, nice quiet study section for anyone who really just doesn't want to be bothered, which is, of course, a great option. And this looks pretty similar to that side. We also have more nonfiction, book talk, collaboration areas over there with the black tables, which is super nice. It's pretty similar to that other side, but it's just two separate spaces on either side of the low volume space, just for people to be able to collaborate and have book talks and be able to come listen to presentations by Mrs. Sheehan or someone else. And this is sort of our, I wouldn't say high volume space, but it is where people can be the loudest in the library if they'd like to be. Okay, so we also have our CoLab A. This is a classroom. There are health classrooms that meet in there. I know our journalism classrooms met in there sometimes. We also have the CoLab B, which is now the think space, as I mentioned earlier, but that's still a great option. And then the final thing is something that's actually in the works, but is really exciting. This room is not fully developed yet, but it is super exciting because especially these machines, if you take a look here, this is sort of going to become the fabrication space. So we are going to have high-tech 3D circuitry robotics, 3D printers, and these are going to be the really enhanced tools that you'll be able to fill out a certification process to become certified and be able to use these machines. So of course the makerspace over there is a great tool for sort of building more simple tools, but if you're really looking to get into computers or engineering, these tools are going to be a great option. in this space. As you can see, there's sort of a lot that's being laid out right now. It's not done yet, but this is going to be thought of as an extension of the makerspace for students that really want to dive deep into tools that are going to be really, really helpful. I know I don't know too much about 3D printers or anything like that, but because it will be available, I'll be happy to learn how that works and potentially make a tool that I'm looking for. This is our podcasting studio. This will be really helpful for learning about tech and sort of audio and video and podcasting. I know I don't know too much about podcasting, but for students that are looking to get into that, because obviously it's a pretty big form of entertainment nowadays, they can come in there and use that. All they need to do is rent out the podcasting studio for the period or as long as they'd like. There's no certification process for that. So that's something that's fairly similar to last year. It actually just used to be across the way over there, so they moved it over here because it was sort of a better space, but we do have a podcasting studio available. And that is the end of the library tour. I hope that you found that there are a bunch of new changes and there are so many options that you have in terms of what you can take advantage of in the library, how you can study, how you can make tools, and all of that. Our library is really not just for books, it is for everyone to come and make changes. Thank you.